2021. For those of you that don't know, I'm a psychic medium. I cover the astrology, twin flame path, romance, and more. So if you are new, a very welcome. Okay, I'm pulling cards and we're going to have a look at how this energy is coming through. We do currently have Mars in Leo. So yes, you do need to be careful of burnout. You may have more energy than you usually did, but we have just moved out of the eclipse energy. We've also moved through the full moon in Capricorn, which yes, it might have been making you realize that, you know, in order to change some things, it's you who's changing. It's also your approach in which you're approaching it with. An old way in which you were approaching it with is going and a new way is coming through. So let's have a look at how the cards are playing out. We'll select a ruin and we'll see how this month is going to play out for you. Now, I do feel you may be wanting to change your appearance. You may be wanting to change a lot about your life. And I do see you guys really feeling very bold this month. We do need to be careful of being overzealous. There are some really hard aspects that are happening in the first week, which can cause tension points. Squares and oppositions are pretty nasty. They're not fun. They're frustrating. It's like we're hitting walls. We're having misunderstandings. We can be communicating a little bit more assertively, which is positive, but we need to keep in our higher consciousness of how that is. Now, emotionally, I do feel a lot of you guys are shedding. You're transforming. You're changing your approach. You're changing direction, which the good thing is you have strength. But you need to not be hard on yourself. You can move into burnout. Now, with Mercury in the house of Cancer, it was hitting your 12th house. So really emotionally, needing to feel safety, needing to feel comforted, people maybe not understanding what your needs are. Those things may have been playing out. The beautiful thing is, hey, Hayley Bean, the beautiful thing is psychologically you guys are going to be coming to terms with things, but really having a revelation and a light bulb moment to do with your creativity, to do with your childhood, your life, and what you're wanting to move forward to, as well as maybe home, your feelings, things that were hidden from you. You're changing. Everything is going to change in that domain. You could have a really great light bulb moment at this new moon on the 10th. But you are guided to look after yourself and know that you can't be everything to everyone. I do feel, you know, I have Saturn and Leo, so I can directly resonate. With Saturn, it causes you to be very strict with yourself. Now, currently, because we're going to be having the new moon in Cancer, I do feel the changes that you directly are making at the moment, and it's funny that we do have the yellow chakra for you coming up. You can again balance the yellow chakra, which is inner child, through drinking lemon water, eating the food groups of that color, doing guided meditation, so that you can be more productive and creative. If that is sluggish, again, studying and things to that degree, you could be turning over a new leaf. You will find even with you networking this month, it's going to bode better as we move out of that shadow phase of Mercury. So I'm seeing that your communication style, the implementation of changes you're making, the foundation work is going to be irritational in the first week. Some of you from a financial perspective may want to be gaining more finances. That can be coming through between, the first week can be a little bit testing. I'll be perfectly honest. But don't get stressed. Focus on service. Focus on what you can do. You're going to make it up as we move through the month, and especially as we move into having a lot of Virgo placements. It's where we're going to be more analytical, both to do with love. We'll understand each other's point of view. We'll be looking at it in a more rational, practical way. And with Aries going retrograde, we can then look at what our part in situations are and how we can change that and come to terms with things. I do feel you're not poker facing it. So you're not willing to poker face it. You're really wanting to get there and level up and get things done. And you're understanding how independence is the key. Being an independent thinker, being an independent human being, but really stepping into your power. And so the past is really going to serve you. The past, we do need to stop just for a moment instead of being super critical on ourselves and say, hey, how far have we come? These pauses are perfect in society to help us do that. And I do feel through this process, it's almost like if you are saying to yourself, hey, you know, things haven't been changing. This card, it says, I can stop attracting don't wants by attention to do wants. And that may temporarily be an issue in the first week because it's in reverse. We get good and bad. I'll just say that. In life, we get both good and bad things. Please don't tell yourself that you're not going to be successful. Balance the yellow chakra. As Neptune went retrograde at the end of June, the revelations we're having moving into July are going to be the key. So it's a little bit like this is going to be the lock and key to the forward movement of what we're doing. If there's any temporary delay, it's temporary. So whatever that delay is, it's going to give you solutions to moving love, life, creativity, finances, home, family, all of it ahead. The trigger points can be coming through, even moving into the new moon in Cancer on the 10th, we can have trigger points like, oh my gosh, you know, I'm going to be safe, are these projects going to get off the ground? It's a beautiful time to be actually manifesting and launching those things. Being an independent thinker, being very Uranus and Taurus, innovative in how we approach circumstances will be the key. But try to not be too impatient with yourself in the first week because it's a natural, everyone's going to feel it. As long as you can do such, I do feel being very authentic and looking at things is going to be the solution there. Now, if you had been assessing your connection, at the moment, you're looking at your need to have healthy give and take, right? As Jupiter dips back into Aquarius, if you feel this party, this energy, be it its work, what you can do, what they can do. So what would I say? With your jobs, don't bite off more than you can chew. Create a practical foundation. Capricorn is all about a foundation. We just moved away from it. So if there's been a pause and delay and there's stagnancy, it's like, right, have we set ourselves up effectively in love, in, you know, our home, in our money, in our finance, in our logic with what we've learned and how we're transforming and changing? We're going to be quite fluid like air at the moment. It's intuitive. If you've done such, Jupiter in Pisces and Neptune retrograding in Pisces has given us and will give us till the 28th of June ideas. Now, with those ideas, how to restructure and implement those things, as well as within love, Leo, Jupiter's dipping then back into Aquarius. Now, if people aren't taking accountability, you're going to get fed up. Don't own it. Don't get shirty. Know that you can grow. Don't get too scared if you're growing and other people aren't catching up. They are going to catch up, but it is hitting your 7th house placement. Trust the process because there are shifts and changes, but it can be added pressure. So don't own other people's energy. Be an independent thinker. Focus on your path. You know, be authentic. Try not to get triggered, because there is a shift happening and it is going to happen in all your contract areas. If you have been upskilling and learning, those things are changing. If you are looking at documentation, tax and paperwork, that again is transforming. But there's a lot in the mix that this month is foundational, moving all the way through to the end of the year and into 2022. So it's a little bit like we're culminating 2 years into one. This is the preparation cycle for you. So all the hard work you're doing is to set you up for success. And that's in love in all facets. Yes, you had to look at the past and you had to look at circumstances where vulnerability is. And what do we mean when we look at vulnerability? It can be environment. It can be the steps we're taking, the logic we're taking, and any pauses we're taking because we think we shouldn't make a decision yet. I do feel you're going to have a revelation about where that served a purpose and where maybe now it doesn't. I also feel that some of you logically are feeling if you're planning something and you're not taking steps, you logically know that you're not going to receive those targets. I do feel some of you have been looking at this time frame, and this can be coming out 2 ways. Number one, I would say if you have been separate from people or society or a connection, using this time frame effectively to get your foundation right, because this was meant to serve a purpose, right? You've had the clarity of both polarities. Some of you have been in a partnership and single. So both those circumstances have served you to show you the best way for you forward. I also feel this change in direction is coming. Things are always changing, but you're changing your viewpoint of what that means. And a lot of times when we feel separate, it's separation from self. When we are in alignment, we attract that back into our life. So it is energy. I feel you're stepping into your power, Leo, and this is where, like the laws of attraction, you're attracting everything back into your life. You do have a lot of manifestation abilities this month, and I feel you're really attracting it into your life, but you're doing it in a more logical approach. You're focusing on your side of the fence, and you're becoming super attractive through it. You literally have 3 cards here that are screaming Leo. Leo, this one is all to do with co-creativity and the sun, Leo. So you are stepping into alignment of who you actually naturally are away from ego. Do be careful though. I feel this has been a long time coming. I feel you have been patient, and it's you know, when we talk about patience, I would honestly say it's better to transform that word into patience for self. Not patience towards another person. That's tolerance. That's compassion and understanding. It's shifting it back onto yourself, because when we're projecting, when we're saying, I've been patient for this person, place, or thing, it's saying that we have to place ourselves on hold. So we're rewiring our word settings of what that means for us. The patience is if we're frustrated that we haven't gained success, taken steps, said things, that it's understanding and compassionate towards self. And when we can do that for ourselves, we then can understand if another person has a flawed premise. There has been a lot going on, okay? In your foundation, you have a lot going on. You may feel right now, thank goodness we have the Leo energy here. Number one, it's going to help you really think, act, and speak from a place of strength like a leader. You guys are actually far better in your own industry being a leader. Jealousy can come through you guys working with other people. So, you know, I get that sudden Leo. It was really interesting. Couldn't ever break that glass ceiling and realize, well, if you want to be the leader, be the leader. Be your own person. And that can be part of the cycle for you guys. Even if you are very content being at the bottom of the barrel and just doing, you know, a 9 to 5, the shadow energy, unfortunately for Leos, is jealousy can be projected. And, you know, it happens. If you are doing something at the moment in work, you are going to shine bright like a diamond, and I do feel you're actually going to break that glass ceiling, be it you're working for someone else or for yourself, but I do feel this transformation and change. I also do feel as though during this time, your belief systems are going to come into question. Now, that can be a marriage. B, it can be a direct contract, a value system, as Aries and Chiron goes retrograde. Whatever you guys have been juggling, you do it like a king or a queen. And I do see you to be finding a way to do that. But, you know, you've got to be careful of your stress levels. Try not to move to burnout. Rome wasn't built in a day. If you can pace yourself, you're going to get more success out of it. Be very practical about what requires your attention right away, and take some time, especially if you're needing to have more focus and you feel at the moment you can't concentrate. I do feel by mid-month the concentration level is going to be there. This is really your whole world you're reshaping. And it does feel that you're dressed for success, but you can be scared if you hit a wall. Please do not say such to yourself, because it is false. It's a challenge. Don't feel you're in competition with anyone, okay? Assess the competition. If this is something, be it it's relating to love, be it it's relating to, you know, again, Aries and Chiron is going to bring these things up. Rewire the language of what you're telling yourself, because success does come down to us half the time. And yes, circumstances can block those things, but it's the attitude in which you're turning up with. And it does make it actually harder when we really run down. Try to get adequate sleep. We did have both Neptune and Jupiter in Pisces, which has been collectively causing a lot of issues for sleep, and as well as Mars and Leo, it's overactive mind. So yes, as Mars moves out of Leo, it may be helping you really focus and get things done, burning that midnight oil, but as it moves out, we'll get more adequate sleep. I'm going to pull a clarifier on this because it's funny how these energies are flowing really like a bat out of hell, and then they're shifting, they're coming into the middle, and they're very in alignment, and then they're bouncing back and they feel they're hitting a wall. I do feel there's something that you're going to realize to do with the past, to do with your emotions, to do with the regrets. Be careful, okay? Value that of what you have. Try to get the notion that it's the glass half full, not the glass half empty. And what I mean by that is everything that you need is going to be given to you. Universe is going to give you a hand. It's what you do with it that counts. What are these regrets, please? Okay, there's an old situation that may play out or come up in your mind. You may hit a stumbling block. There can be a bit of healing going on this month. But the healing's going to happen while we're working in the 3D. I do feel, I'm going to pull 3 cards for love. I do feel when it does come to love, you will know what to do. I also feel continue to be yourself, but at the same time, you could be a bit scared that you're leaving someone behind. You know, flourishing and having purpose does not mean you're leaving people behind. It means you're being yourself, but I do feel emotionally you can feel that you're leaving somebody behind. Some of you can be looking at this and thinking that, you know, you need balance. This is what you want. This is what you require. You may have told this person the subject. You may feel overwhelmed to communicate effectively. If the conversation does come up, it takes 2 to tango. Yes, adversity can be avoided, but I do feel it's to do with, you know, the strength to understand changes take time, but also to do things in a healthy way, right? Okay, how is this love interest relating to Leo this month, please? And we will do other check-ins for romance for Leos as well as the astrology. I do feel some of you could be hearing from people from the past. There is healing occurring. This could have caused stress, especially with the dynamics of what you've had to deal with, Leo. But I do feel very separately, this Cancer-Capricorn axis that's happening between the 2 moons, it does almost feel like it's a little bit like 2020. So we are returning to some old storylines, but we're also looking at how we've changed. And there has been changes happening in both masculine and feminine's lives, in our work life and our love life. And so, yes, there were direct reasons why these things happened. There was healing going on, but there were our own personal areas of life that were creating hindrances in circumstances. So it's, you know, it's the way you're feeling at the moment, not necessarily the way someone has spoken. Some of you may not have any communication. There might be cross wires with communication, and that would have happened really during Mercury retrograde. There's something to do with marriage coming up. I feel some of you may be thinking, hey, am I ready? Can I do both? Can I have the world and can I, you know, be in a connection? How do I balance all of this? But I do feel ultimately, Leo, I think it's your stress levels. I don't necessarily feel it's that you can't have this. I feel it's more your stress levels. Yeah, it's stress and it's healing. I do feel resolve and repair will come through Aries and Chiron retrograde on the 15th. And also when we have transits relating to Virgo. So I'm pretty much seeing by mid-month this is going to be a healing time. But up to then you might have a little bit of trigger points thinking maybe something's not going to come off the ground. Maybe things aren't going to move. Maybe love isn't going to bode well. But I do feel just pause and take your time. Don't make any brash decisions. I do feel ultimately this is going to be a change for the better. And it is when it comes to all things in contracts. And it's a new way it's going to be. So how very exciting. Let's pull a ruin for you. I haven't pulled the ruin in the whole read. What's going on here? So are we all in the house or are we all very quiet today? I'm telling you at the moment, the YouTube streaming's been pretty interesting. We're going to be doing Sagittarius next. And tomorrow we're live in the Twin Flame Members Room. And then next week we're live on Friday, Greens Mention time. And read from the Ruin Book. Eagle, bird's eye view. Thor, very Saturn. Oof. Okay, relationship sector. Eagle, Thursday, fire, air. Chariot, okay, so we're going to have a transformation happening around the new moon in Cancer in your love life. And you'll be able to see this. Something that is hidden is going to be shown to you. Okay, it's an old traveling journey moving forward. Radio is not simply a static wheel. It represents the capture of wheel of time, wheel pulled by horse, and means progress and process. Scarred journey, spiritual quest. Progress or process. Changes of direction. Where did I see it? Okay. Changes in direction, movement, progress, journey, relocation, habits, breaking rhythms, cosmic order, ritual journey, vision quest, personal destiny. This is why you're coming through independently. There is a change happening in your life. Now, when it does come to home at the moment, with Pluto retrograde in Scorpio, you can be feeling as though your childhood energy is transforming, the way you see your life is transforming, maybe that your stability at home or your daily routine needs to shift, but your quality is sharing it. It is shifting and changing. Also relating to your children, if you have children, that situation is shifting. But what's coming to an end and you're creating a brand new beginning is the way you show up, the way you handle adversity, the way you handle changes and stability. You're taking your power back and you're realizing you can have all these things. I also feel you're opening up to a reality that spiritually you need to have a connection. It's not to do with money. It's not to do with, marriage. It's a spiritual connection. You're balancing a healthy codependency. You're looking at life and you're saying, right, what can I directly depend on? Is it financial? Is it daycare? Is it my employment with my money coming in? You're creating that structure around your life. And by doing such, you're going to be prepared for the rest of your life, living a more authentic life. But it is open to having a very spiritual connection. So a lot of you may be having downloads that, this was really blocking movement. Stagnancy does block movement. Sometimes, like I say, we're in the hermit card mode and we're looking at things like, I don't want to leave a soldier behind. But it's not about leaving a soldier behind. It's leaving an old vibration of who you used to be behind. You're allowed to change. Change does not mean breakups, okay? Change means you're allowed to grow. Bonsais grow. They evolve and change. Maybe the external doesn't, but the internal's always changing. So in the Hermit card in Tarot and Aries and Chiron going retrograde, don't feel that. Change doesn't mean something negative. You've got to rewire the brain that change is part of life. Change has always been happening, but maybe when we've been at the 3D and too much in autopilot, we don't realize those changes are happening. We're always growing. Who you are tomorrow is going to be different. It doesn't mean the universe is taking things from you. Universe is giving you something, and it's giving you an element of independence, self-worth, self-development, being authentic, and being the best vibration. And when we can be that, we can attract all of those things into our life. So yes, emotionally, Leo, it has been a little bit testing, but this is a really beautiful transformation for you. You will have more energy. You do have movement. You're taking a different approach now. This new moon in Cancer is going to usher this in. It's going to give you a lot of psychic downloads. You also may have some updates relating to a family-related dynamic, be it's with you, with children, but there is changes. There may be a delay in the first week, but as we move through, this is where the change is happening in July. Any questions? It's upright. It's good. It's all good, Leo. So yes, this month I have to release I've got to release the birthday videos. Going to have a busy month this month. Mercury's still wreaking a bit of havoc with us. It should settle down soon. We do have it in the North Node at the minute. So this too is changing. Any questions? And then we're going to do Sag. Uncertainty. Look, Neptune's retrograde at the moment. Jupiter is the house of expansion. At the moment, we have Saturn and Jupiter, which were in the house of Aquarius, which is your romantic zone. Jupiter, which is where it's expanding us and evolving the connections, it is going to be dipping back on the 28th into Aquarius. So at the moment, they're both going to be retrograde, but you're going to be reflecting upon what to do with that. Your indecision with it, when you're nervous, you just had a ruin drop. You got the same bloody one as Cancer and Libra. No, Libra and Aries. Going to be reflecting. Indecision means now, indecision can come through in two ways. Number one, it can be because you are second guessing yourself. That change or a decision is permanent. Yes, and it can change in 24 hours. No decision is a decision. If something isn't looking attractive, you know, what can you do? If the person isn't there, for instance, it is where it is. Reaching acceptance and you know, having purpose. Really focusing on what you can, what is within your control. And like the laws of attraction, it'll come towards you. If it doesn't, rejection is the universe's protection. You're still protected. But with Juno retrograde in spiritual connections, there can be movements for twin flames, for instance, and soul connections. So at the moment, it's retrograde in Sagittarius. We also have the South Node in Sagittarius. So commitments, as per se, have been a little bit where we've been reflecting upon them, maybe experiencing a bit of communication and adversity. But what we realise through it can be where our blocks were. As it goes direct, we can apply that approach. So I've had breakups and makeups during Juno transits. Yep. Makeups and breakups. Any questions? Anytime really is. If it's meant to be, it's meant to be. Do you know what I mean? I mean, during Mercury retrograde, you're more inclined to have communication with people from the past. It will bode better because you have history. And because it's history orientated in Mercury's retrograde, you have a high success rate with individuals that you had previous connections to. But that just won't be romantic. That'll be, you know, what do I call it? It's point blank zero. Friendship groups, old jobs, reflecting back on it. It's like an old wheel. New ones, they have history with other people, so it doesn't bode as well. It doesn't mean that you can't have a great connection moving forward. It's just be aware that they may be touching base with exes and friends and having more historical energies linking in from a previous partner today. Yeah, there's going to be a lot of shifts, especially for romantic energies. We are going through a transformative state with the Cancer Capricorn axis. And I mean, that person you may have had communication with in 2020. That person you may have had communication with in February, you know, because these soul contracts, these energies will come in and out till they're transformed. And with masculines at the moment, we did have with the Capricorn full moon, it was an activation of the Kundalini, right? The serpent energy. So it's really the foundation of all things, but it's as above as below. So with Jupiter and Pisces, it's crown chakra. So they are ascending, but the blockages are being removed. But I'll do the Twin Flame update and I'll be doing that inside the Twin Flame Members Hub this week. The Members Hub's only $11 for the month and you get 2 sessions, but you end up getting the end of the month and the beginning of the month, and then you get to get the end of the month and the beginning of the month. So they're double sessions back to back, and then the rest of them are on the main platform. Okay. So I will be doing Sagittarius next. Okay. See you soon. And I will jump in randomly. I've got the Twin Flame videos by element to do. I've got the Psychic Energy updates by Zodiac. So I'll be starting them as of Monday. I have the live session tomorrow. I might start tomorrow. I'll pre-record them. And they will be launched in Premiere with extensions. So the extension hub's the top level. I do need to rename it. But yeah, there's 3 tier levels. If you go up a level, you're paying one set payment. It's not that and that. It's one set payment. But I'll see you soon. I'll be back in about 5. I've got to add all the information into the video before I launch it. So if you think I'm taking too long, it's because I've got to add the analytics in. I'll be 5.